Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn 1.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They've not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, 7 laps of Spa-Francorchamps?
We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport. Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season as they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Kor clips the back at 10, Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Kor. They go over the hill and Povey's around. Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail when it hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to round 2 of the Formula CDM Americas Series here from not the Miami Grand Prix circuit but Homestead Miami Speedway. There's been a bit of confusion going on in the week leading up to this with what circuit we were actually racing at. When you say the Miami road course, to a lot of people they seem to only think that Formula 1 can go there, but no, Miami Homestead has had an amazing road course for many a year and it is a really, really tricky one that is often very underappreciated, but it won't be appreciated by us two in the commentary box here tonight. Chaz Draycott and Dara Thacker. And Dara, we had a great first round of the season, but I think, well, like many, we're both looking forward to this one a lot, aren't we, mate?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, this is the first iRacing event that I've commentated at this circuit. I've done a little bit of racing at it back on Forza, but this is such a great track, isn't it? It's got great characteristics, really good overtaking points all the way through the lap, and a couple of crunch points as well. In these cars particularly, I think this is going to be a cracker.
It should be. Hopefully it will be. We'll soon see, I'm sure. But we have a very, very tight championship prospect at the moment after the very first round of the season that we saw back at Mid-Ohio. This is how the championship looks at present then. It's Jake Cranstone leading the way after taking that impressive victory in the feature race. Alex Jonsson, second place for him, but unfortunately may not be here tonight. I don't see him out in practice at the moment. Kevin Zemstra was going well. He's up in third place in the championship ahead of Aaron Smith 2, the American, and Aaron Smith 1, the British driver. Alexis de Klerk is just behind Alex Fretwell as well, but as you can see, it's nice and close. The team's championship is also tied, with Cranstone equaling that of all the other teams and Cross Development just in front of him. But to be fair, with only one team not scoring and Lee Berridge being definitely a threat to score points tonight, it looks like quite the tight season that we're going to have here, Dara.
Yeah, and again, one round done, yes, of course, so it's going to be tight anyway, but a few of those drivers in that mid-pack in the Drivers' Championship are going to feel like they have a little bit more to give over the course of the season. A few drivers that dropped a little bit further back than they otherwise could have been, the likes of Lee Aberdeen, maybe Sam Fitzpatrick as well, that are, you know, on the outside looking into that, you know, early championship battle, but will definitely feel like they have points that they're going to be able to rack up. Jake Cranston with a perfect evening, really, as with Alex Jonsson to start the season. They are going to be riding that high coming into this race, but there's no guarantee that's going to continue because, like you can see, Lee Aberdeen, fastest in practice last week, going fastest again so far this week.
He absolutely is, yeah, and let's not forget the reason, probably the only reason, that Lee didn't actually take victory in the feature race at Mid-Ohio after an impressive start was the fact that he unfortunately was, well, subject to his own success. He was too quick into one of the left-handers and had a spin, but now he's hoping to take this away from everyone else and score as many points as possible. This is the final sector here, very tricky. It's very flat as well. It feels like when you're on board with these cars, all the size of the banking, the actual tyres, the walls, all of it is really exaggerated. But this is a NASCAR circuit at the end of the day on the outside, and a wonderful road course on the inside. I mean, I love the look of this place. There have been some questions about when you join the circuit and the white lines and so on, but we will get into that in a little bit. As you could see, when he came onto the banking, he cut down the inside of that white line quite a bit, but that's absolutely fine. At the end of the day, they can do what they want as long as people aren't taking the mick. We have Sean Clark with us tonight, who is a new driver in the championship. He will be first out in qualifying, I believe, with 15.5 minutes left on the clock. It should be a 16-minute session, and yes, it is this time, because I've updated the session, thankfully. Got it right this time. But yeah, Sean Clark with us. We've got Lee Berridge with us for the first time this season as well, which is good to see. But Sean decided to join the championship after watching the Mid-Ohio broadcast, and he drew Kalita Motorsport to team up with Matt Hoyland. Unfortunately, Hoyland not here tonight. But as you see, Sean knows the score, straight out of the pit lane as soon as it's 15:30 on the board. And we'll follow him with his first opening lap. He's going to be building up his confidence in this car. But as you can see, it's not a perfectly flat infield here, Dara, is it? I mean, there's quite a bit of a rise over that hairpin and a dip in this one.
Yeah, I love this circuit. I really do. It has so many characteristics of an American roval that you just don't get anywhere else. I mean, I spent a lot of time over the weekend talking about Daytona, and boy, is that flat in the middle, isn't it? There's nothing to speak of in terms of elevation change, and there's only really a couple of meaningful corners through there. Here at Homestead, you've got hairpins, you've got medium speed corners, you've got undulation. It has everything, really. And in the state of Florida, you wouldn't necessarily expect that, would you? So it really is a bit of a gem. I mean, you look down here. This is going to be a prime overtaking spot coming onto the oval part of the lap where the track widens out, and there's going to be so many chances. And yeah, they're using a little bit more of the track, but realistically, the circuit's the circuit. They're all going to be taking the same line. They're basically racing the same track anyway. Then you come off in this high-speed corner. It can go wrong. You can go wide. And then it slows down again into this final little chicane. Yeah, I love this track. It's perfectly formed in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute treat. I'm excited to see what the drivers make of it in qualifying as well. Easy to get it wrong here as well. Sean Clark then will be the first driver to head around the circuit in quali, and we'll give it a push in the Kalita Motorsport machine. As you can see, he's just getting used to it, getting used to the car as well. He's quite new to this machine, but like I say, he wanted in after watching the Mid-Ohio broadcast. It was about half an hour after the stream had finished. He'd signed up, and Danny Weir had messaged me and said he's ready to send his entry fee in. He was right on it, was Sean, bless him. And he's excited to be a part of the grid this evening. He's coming into the hairpin, which is going to be one of the main overtaking opportunities, I think, tonight. But then again, you've got this high-speed right-hander on the exit. I think it's going to be a case of slipstreaming a lot down here, isn't it? People may set themselves up for this run and this braking zone.
Exactly. And again, there are so many little braking zones around this lap that you are going to be focusing on. And that's one of the reasons why it's so tricky to defend around a circuit like this. I think this is a big difference to what we saw from Ohio last week, where you've really got one clear overtaking spot, a couple where you can send it a little bit more, but here you really can go for it in a few more different spots. The track's a little bit well, it's a lot wider in fact, and it is clearer in where those points are going to be to try and make some of those overtakes. So yeah, really interested to see how the drivers are going to race this one, and Sean's going to give us the first reading what the pace is going to be.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by how much of the infield he cut actually as he came on to the banking. But there is the time on the board. The 68 machine sets a 1:22.3. Victor Oliveira has just started his flying lap. He will be the next driver to complete a time. He's making his way through this infield. Feels very slow and really crawly through there. But he's on the power, nice and sharpish. Lovely helmet design on it as well. Look at that, really fancy. He heads down into the hairpin now. It looks like they're braking so late into there, but at the end of the day, it's not a complete 180 hairpin, so they don't have to carry as much speed as you'd expect. Oh, sorry, they don't have to drop as much speed as you'd expect. Victor in the gorgeous Dragonfly competition machine. They're hoping for a bit of a better season this time. Victor has stayed with the team after the European Series. Francois Brandet, his ex-teammate, has moved on to Hikawa Racing. But Victor stays with the squad, and he will be teammates with Kevin Zemstra for this season. Kevin going pretty well third in the Drivers' Championship already. As Victor cuts a lot of that curb on the inside. It is almost blind into there, in fairness, so you never really know where that will be. We'll see what time he sets. They've got to be so careful of those tyres, by the way, because they will kill you. And a bit of a slide on the exit as well. It's quite a hairy lap, isn't it?
Yeah, you're running right on the limit so much of the time around. Victor Oliveira will go, you'd think, to the top.
Didn't count.
I didn't count. There you go. I hope you can't hear planes, my end, Chaz. I'm just making doubly sure.
No?
The Americans sound like they've gone to war, so hopefully you can't hear that.
Oh.
That's all good.
I'd quite like to. I thought you meant the film for a moment there. I was going to say Dusty's
Oh, no,
hero.
no, they are. The jets are flying, and that's almost all I can hear right now.
Oh, you're near Lakenheath, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
So they are. Yeah, God, they're loud. Anyway, yeah, good that you can't hear them. They're just, in my mind. Who we got? Lee Berridge then on a lap, looking to try and put himself up the order, and that is not a Mercedes, despite it looking worryingly like one as he comes through the final sector. I love that corner, that left-hander off the oval section, because it really will get a bit hairy in the race. You'll see it. There will be cars side by side. We will get cars going wide. And it'll be a real opportunistic chance for drivers to try and make a move through as you go into the final few corners, maybe even on the last couple of laps. This lap should count for Berridge, and it does. He's 2 seconds clear, 20.1. That's a good marker for everyone else.
Yeah, lovely stuff there by Lee Berridge. He'll be pleased with that one. Simon Price, next up in the Mirage Sport Machine. Had a fantastic meet-up with Simon over the weekend. Got to see him and a few other friends on Sunday, and it was always a pleasure to see him and his lovely wife, Gail, as well. And now he's back in the hot seat and pushing the PM18 to its limit. And Airline Spotter saying, why does this racing series not get more attention? I really like watching it. First time ever in the 2 series for me to catch it live. Well, I'm really glad you enjoy it, mate. But unfortunately, I'm well aware that 90% of my YouTube viewership is Tower Simulator 3, and I accept that and love it. But right now, Simon Price, it looks like he was really pushing on there, actually. Not quite sure he's going to beat Lee Berridge, but still a solid time by any stretch of the imagination. Only 52 thousandths off, so despite there not being any purple sectors in there, he must have been mighty, mighty close.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of purple sectors that we've also seen from was it Oliveira who, of course, invalidated that lap, so got to keep that in mind as well. But to have 52 thousandths between 2 of the 3 laps is crazy, crazy stuff. Kenyon to the line. Where's he going to slot himself in that number 11? Never trust that 20.7. In actual fact, it is a 19.7. Nice. You can almost take a full second off of what is said on that little timing. What would you call that? Timing.
A little graphic. Just a graphic.
Yeah, graphic. Okay, cool. It's been a long day. I may get some words.
That's a car on screen.
Red, I think.
Oh no, I've got it as blue, but then again.
This is when we find it we're colourblind, isn't it?
Came right out of the purple.
Danny did really well last week. I think he'll be really looking forward to this one after picking up some good points. I think he'd agree, had a difficult season in Europe, but he started well in the US. That's not a good lap, though, because he's not even set a valid lap. He'll start in the back.
That is devastating for him. John Roberts had a tough start to his season as well, scoring no points in the first round after having, I think he jumped the start in the first race, but now he's tidied it up. He got some points in the second one, and now he's going to try and set a faster time than those around him in the Derrington Francis machine. A few invalidated laps so far. He goes 4th fastest, does John Roberts, with a 1:20.906. The next car will be the first of the Spontex CDM Esports cars to cross the line. Stuart Clark, another one that had a difficult time last week. And, hello. He has a bit of a difficult time getting onto the banking as well. Across the line goes Stuart. Some purple sectors in there. Surely fastest. Yes, it is, by just under a quarter of a second. Lovely lap that by Stuart Clark, takes him to the top.
Yeah, and a good margin to have as well in his back pocket in that number 23. Of course, Sean Clark and Stuart Clark, I've just realised, Chaz, obviously come up on the left as the same name.
Oh, yeah.
So Sean's in the 23, and Stewart is in the 68. If anybody can remember that, maybe write that down.
No, don't do that. It's the
Put it-
wrong way round.
God.
Sean is the 68.
Sorry.
Stuart is the 23. We will change that. We will sort that out somehow.
Stuart's the 23.
Stuart's the
Stuart.
23.
23. Sean 68. When I invariably get that wrong in about 30 seconds time, please scream at me. But yeah, that'll be Stuart at the top of the timesheet, and he's having a good DVD so far. I think it's interesting as well. The way that we qualify for reverse championship order, of course, coming into this race, and of course we've only had one round, so it is going to be a little bit more unpredictable. You won't necessarily get the fastest drivers going at the end, depending on who maybe had a difficult time last time out. Sadly for Sam Fitzpatrick, he just did not have a good time last week, and he did not have a good time on that qualifying lap either. No. And he'll be starting right at the back of the field as well. Jack Reeve, however, well, it looks like he's going pretty quickly. I think those 3 purple sectors are going to do nicely. Yeah,
I'm surprised they've not just infected themselves with that green that he wears all over his race suit and his gloves, to be honest. But very bright green machine, set in purple sectors. Oh, look at the speed they have to carry through there, the commitment. You'd have thought a car like this as well, with how twitchy it is, would be really unstable through there, but I mean, that's its bread and butter. But look, the back end there, the steering wheel was straight and the car was still trying to break away. I don't know how the suspension is going to survive that through the entire race, coming onto the bank in there. Let's see what Jack Reeve can do. 3 purple sectors, and it is, I'm happy to say this, a Spontex CDM Esports 1-2 at the moment at the front of the grid here at Homestead, Miami. How good is that? Someone that will probably upset that is Lee Aberdeen. Flaxen Sport driver was fastest in practice, but a yellow sector for... What is this?
It is Lee Aberdeen. He comes through. Let's see where he goes. I mean, again, fastest last week. Fastest in practice. Can he do it again? Goodness me, he can. 18.4.
My
That's
word.
Outrageous. That's nearly 4 seconds faster than, check notes, Sean Clark in that 68 at the back of the field. So there's a bit of a margin at the moment between front and back, and that still could increase. And you've got the likes of de Klerk coming through. That could be close. I think that's going to put in P2, and it will indeed, but only a couple of tenths away. It's going to be close. Also, to think about, the colours for the 12, the 2 and the 23 are very close together.
Yes.
De Klerk is in one team, and then Reeve and then Stuart Clark are in a different car.
Yes. Yeah, the other one has a small hedgehog in the bottom right corner rather than a little sort of DNA symbol, but I will be getting to that to change that, so it's a bit easier to tell apart. Just wanted to ride on board with Alex Fretwell as he really kicks this car's head in through the final couple of corners, and across the line he goes. Well, is he going to set? Doesn't look like a bad time at all, that one for Fretwell. It puts him 4th, so he splits the 2 Spontex CDM Esports cars, and he will do well from there. What about Aaron Smith? Runner-up in the European Series and very fast last week. Just got himself in a little bit of trouble here and there. Had a warning for the rejoin, which we didn't see on the broadcast, but we watched afterwards, and it was terrifying. Aaron was given a slap on the wrists for that, but he comes back as fast as ever, running along the wall there to get a little bit of a side draft. And it's an invalid time. Another one, in the words of DJ Khaled. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm wondering where they're picking these up, actually. I wonder if it's down there when they're cutting that part of the circuit. I mean, it's working for some. I don't know whether there's, like a magical line in the sand that you can't be crossing. But it's interesting that we've got a few drivers not setting bad laps, because it is difficult to invalidate a lap and go quickly around here, because almost all of those exit zones are guarded by some pretty aggressive areas of grass. Aaron Smith, the second, the American edition, coming up to the line, goes P4. That's a good lap time from him. Of course, was competitive last week in his first race in the championship, so he'll be looking to progress from there. Then we've got to look at Kevin Zemstra, another driver who's been strong over the European Series and now into the start of the Americas Series. Where can he go? This looks competitive. This looks like P2 or 3, and it's 3. Only
just behind Alexis de Klerk there. And Kevin Zemstra will find himself 3rd at best. We need to keep our eye on Jake Cranstone, though, because unfortunately, 2nd in the championship, Alex Johnson, he's not here this week. So it's down to Cranstone to get pole position if anybody's going to take it away from Lee Aberdeen. Jake is savagely quick, Don't forget that Lee set a yellow and not even a personal best Sector 4 on his first lap. Oh, that looks deep there from Jake. He recuperates on the exit but gets a bit of grass. Not sure if that's going to be much of an improvement. It seems like that's the tricky bit for them to improve on, though. Let's see. It's a personal best, but no purples. God, that's fast through there. You can tell the drivers that have got their really heavy direct drive wheels on as well, because the wheel flicks around in their hands. Big commitment into that chicane by Jake. Fantastic stuff. Really big kick in there through that final corner. Cranstone to the line. I don't think it's enough. It's not, and look how close it is between those four at the front. But Lee Aberdeen takes pole position here at Miami. Very interesting indeed. There were questions about the format, which may change. I'm going to read that out to you now, but the format may change going forward, because at the end of the day, we have a qualifying session that gets reversed anyway, and then the result of the sprint race becomes the grid for the feature. So some of the drivers have said that could be exploited by those that slow down to obviously, you know, be 10th in qualifying, get pole and drive away at the front in both races. But we know it's not as simple as that. But we have 4 drivers there, Dara, with invalidated times. Danny Weir, Victor Oliveira, Aaron Smith and Sam Fitzpatrick as well. 2 of the drivers in there that were real stalwarts of the top 5 in the championship last season in particular. So I'm intrigued to see how everyone can get on. But Alexis de Klerk taking his first front row of the season. Very well done in the DNA Motorsport machine. The Frenchman making his debut this season. Not bad at all there.
No, not at all. And good for him to get a good footing in this championship early on and put himself amongst some of the fastest drivers in the series. Always good to kind of be somewhat known by the drivers around you, because then they're going to be racing you a little bit more. Well, I guess in a way you don't want them to be racing you a little bit more aggressively, but it shows that you can almost get in their heads a little bit, which is exactly what you want at the start of a championship. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how they race around this circuit. It's not the longest lap we've seen. You know, and we saw those lap times, you know, hovering around 80 seconds. This is going to be great, I think.
I think this is going to be a belter. Lee Berridge on pole position then for his first race meeting of the season. Martin Kenyon will start alongside him, and then it's Stuart Clark and Alex Fretwell. Aaron Smith 2 alongside Jack Reeve in car 2. Then it's Kevin Zemstra and Jake Cranstone. Alexis de Klerk and Lee Aberdeen will make up the 9th and 10th spots. Then it's an all Mirage Sport 6th row of the grid, ahead of John Roberts and Sean Clark. Next up is Aaron Smith and Sam Fitzpatrick. Watch out for those two on the 8th row. Victor Oliveira and Danny Weir will start on the 9th and final row of the grid. 24 cars signed up for the full season. So far this season we have only had the 18, unfortunately, but real life commitments elsewhere mean that not everyone is about. It's nice and peaceful on the grid. Very quickly, Dara, who have you got your eye on?
You've got to have your eye on Lee Aberdeen. I think he'll be trying to come back through like he did last week. I've also got an eye on Kevin Zemstra to see how he can do in this one.
Yeah, I think Zemstra's definitely one to keep your eye on. He is fired up for this season. We're all fired up for Miami, and the first race of the night in the Formula CDM Americas Series gets underway. Kenyon goes nowhere, loses places. There's carnage and contact behind. Zemstra is around. Zemstra's off and in the wall already. Big drama for Kevin, so, well, that's him, commentators Kirsten, out of the way. Alexis de Klerk down the inside. Aaron Smith 2 is off the road, and he's running way, way wide into this hairpin. Very busy start to the race, but Lee Berridge is probably the only one that stayed where he actually started. Simon Price is the other one. It's all a bit friendly in the middle of the pack there, side by side John Roberts and John Tusting. But look at that for a start for Jake Cranstone. 4 places gained for him as they head down towards the hairpin for the first time.
Yep, and side by side further behind, Stuart Clark on the outside, trying to defend his position through another one of those hairpins, but he will have the inside line coming up to this next left hand. It's a lot of ducking and diving, bobbing and weaving at the moment, trying to get into the right place on the circuit. 3 wide, then as Aaron Smith comes to the inside behind. Sam Fitzpatrick's going to the inside as well, and quite frankly, well, Clark's been mugged down there, Stuart. He's been overtaken by 3 cars into the one corner, just couldn't get into the right place.
No, it was really unfortunate that. Really brave by Aaron Smith to go down the inside like that and try it. And he certainly made it work. Lee Aberdeen. Oh no, Alexis de Klerk. He's off. There's contact. The two of them are both going way too hot into there. Oh, dearie me. They both tried to commit and it just didn't really work out. Aaron Smith again brave through there, cutting across the nose of the car on the inside. Sam Fitzpatrick round the outside. gains a place on Martin Kenyon. 7 places gained in the first lap for Sam Fitzpatrick. 8 gained for Aaron Smith. But it's Lee Berridge who holds on to his race lead. But for how long, with Fretwell bearing down on him?
Fretwell is right there. A couple of moves in behind as well. That was Cranston trying to get through on Reeve and doing so effectively. And he's now up inside the top 3, pushing after Fretwell and Berridge as they run now down in towards this right-hander. This is the kind of the sight you'd expect in a race like this, with the top 10 from qualifying reverse. Drivers trying to get through very early on indeed, and the field at the front bunched up. Yeah,
this is very bunched up stuff. Simon Price has unfortunately been off the road and lost a bunch of positions. We'll look at that in a moment, because here comes Alex Fretwell going for the lead down the inside of Lee Berridge. Lee held onto it where we usually see the Blade Speed Esports cars at the front for as long as he could, but Fretwell gets to the front, and look at that, 3rd place already in this race. Jake Cranstone, championship leader after Mid-Ohio. He wants a piece of this, and he wants to, well, he's probably just going to want these two to maybe take each other off. It's not what you want from a sportsmanship perspective, but for your own benefit, why not? He's going to have to be patient though and hope that, oh hello, that's not good for Lee Berridge. He's going to have to hope that Jack Reeve just behind him is also patient, but if we know Jack, that's not quite his top ability, is it?
No, and when you've got 15 minutes, you don't really want to be sitting around and waiting for too long, do you? And that's understandable. Roberts has a meatball flag.
No. Oh no, Berridge!
And where Berridge is off wide, then again, another point of this circuit, if you go wide and you get onto some of the grass, it is a real difficulty to turn it back onto the racing surface, and so he's got all the way down to 6th. But again, that's also a feature of the fact that he's got such a bunched group at the front of the field. He's now trying to defend from the second of the Aaron Smiths, and then you've got Sam Fitzpatrick himself coming down the inside. It really is a frantic opening.
Yeah, very, very busy stuff. We'll have a look back at the start of the race, and we'll have a look at this from Kevin Zemstra's point of view, because, well, you'll see that I think the car on the right, I think it's Jack Reeve, comes across to avoid the stationary Martin Kenyon. Let's see. Jack comes across. Oh, wow. It's a big old move across as well by Jack. I don't quite think he needed to come that far over, but I suppose in the heat of the moment to avoid it, you have to really throw the car out of the way. We'll quickly come back to this as Lee Berridge having another blink in and out. This is what happened to Simon Price. I'm hoping that he didn't have to just avoid something in front, but it may be the case. Oh, a car on the inside. He goes around the outside. It's just a little bit too hot, and it's getting away from him. And like you said, as soon as you're off, it's a nightmare to recover it, isn't it? A real nightmare. And then what happened to John Roberts? Because he also had a drama, didn't he? He lost a place, actually, getting past. He got past Simon Price. And then, oh no, he's already got the damage there, I think. Oh. We've had a blink in and out there. Complete loss of that. That was very strange.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no.
Oh.
Berridge and Kenyon off big time and both in the wall. That is a big, big accident for those two. What on earth has caused this? So Berridge, oh, he was wide there. Then Aaron Smith was in on it. Kenyon, don't go for the middle, Martin. I don't know where Martin thought he was going there, but he shouldn't have tried to fill that gap. Unfortunate way for us to see the little EU champion sticker on the side of the Blade Speed Esports car. But yeah, that was a bit silly, that, to say the least. Jake Cranstone has taken the lead, which is, well, not silly or unexpected really, but we know what Jake is like. He's absolutely rapid. He's got Alex Fretwell in there with him. Jack Reeve is ahead of Aaron Smith, and then the two Flaxon Sport cars for the first time this season right together in the pack, which is good to see. We know that they are favourites on paper for the team's championship, but they've got to make it happen.
Yeah, they do. And that's, that's a bit late. Oh, that's a lot of contact. And that'll be Reeve down the I can't think he's going to be over the police about that, but Jack has been firmly in it in the first few minutes. Of course, that little incident, was Zenstra off the start, quite large, wasn't it? And then that little moment there with the two Flaxon Sport cars, but now Aberdeen and Fitzpatrick work as a bit of a pair. They just did there, you could say, with Aberdeen was creating the room for Sam to come through. But they're chasing after Aaron Smith, and he is no driver to underestimate, so we'll have to see how this one pans out. Fretwell sticking well with Cranston as well at the front. Yeah,
he's doing a great job, is Alex Fretwell. We know he's quick. He just isn't. It wasn't quite as quick as the top 3 or so last season, but on a few occasions he really could hold a candle to them, and was definitely a challenger, but it's Jake Cranstone here, started in 8th place on the grid, and he's made his way to the front through the carnage and has survived up to this point. Now you've got to wonder, will Sam Fitzpatrick try and put a move on his teammate as they get back onto the banking, all over the joint once again, and into the slipstream they go. Slipstream very strong in these cars. They are a sort of a stepping stone to IndyCar in their sort of design, so they do give off quite a lot of slipstream, especially in this medium downforce configuration. I think Fitzpatrick knows that if he sits behind Lee after being fastest in qualifying, he will probably be dragged along with him and gain places, much like we saw him do before on Jack Reeve, unless he does something like that.
Yeah, you don't really want to see that too many times, do you? Excuse me, over the course of a race, which we are already nearly halfway through, would you believe? Alexis de Klerk, sorry Alexis, trying to make his way through, but you know, he qualified very well indeed in that qualifying session, to the point where you would think that he's going to have a good little bit of confidence to get through on a few of these guys. Difficulty for him is you've got the likes of Fitzpatrick, Aberdeen, Smith just up the road once he can get through, if he can get through on Jack Reeve, that is, of course. But he's a driver I think we have to keep an eye out for, because if it does start blowing up in front of him, he will be the one to be able to pull through and really take advantage of that. Is there going to be any kind of late into the final couple of corners? No. But he's well within range to have a go on this next lap, maybe even in the opening sector.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, is de Klerk, at the moment. Really going well. We've just had a move a bit further down, actually. John Tustin getting past Danny Weir for position as they came on to the banking. John's going to move over to the left in the slipstream. Nice and late as well. Really jumps out from behind him. You get top 10 points in the sprint race, and then 15 positions get you points in the feature. So drivers need to think about that. There's no reverse grid for the feature, so you have to think about every single position here as well, because it will affect your grid position for the next race. Aaron Smith and Alex Fretwell, these two had a couple of comings together last season. I know that Alex will be hoping not to have that again, but Aaron is definitely not one to back down. And now he's in the stealthy but very pretty Darrington Francis car. I'm sure he's not going to do that either. But in the background, Sam Fitzpatrick making a move on Lee Aberdeen. The two Flaxton Sport cars, I think, nearly making contact there, actually, as Sam goes down the inside. Big old send. No team orders there, it seems.
No. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting till later on in the season to get some team orders in. That was a big old move between Fretwell and Smith. I thought both of them could be skittled away and off the racing circuit, but Fretwell is just about going to stay in front for the time being. Smith is really pushing for this move, isn't he? Goodness me. Yeah,
he was trying to get some sort of cutback, but it just wasn't going to work at the end of the day. I don't know where he was expecting Fretwell to go, but this is, again, these two had a bit of a coming together actually at Mid-Ohio that needed raising as well in terms of stewarding, so we're hoping not to see any of that as Fretwell loses the back end and into the side of Aaron Smith he goes. Aaron somehow continues, and Sam Fitzpatrick ends up down the inside of Fretwell. Fretwell has the meatball flag, which means that he has to come in and get the car fixed. Guys around him won't know that, but I think, yeah, Alex is backing out of that one, which is the right thing to do. Or is he? He's still filling the mirrors as de Klerk down the inside of Reeve, not quite making it work there. All of this is helping Jake Cranstone, because he's just off and gone, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't quite know how Aaron was able to hold P2 there after being up in the air through the middle of the corner, but hey-ho. Here comes Fitzpatrick, going to the inside to undo all of that. Good work. Good exit, though, from Aaron as he tries to just about hold on to his P2. Aberdeen in the background trying to make his name very much known in the mirrors. Maybe take advantage of these two come together into this fast left-hander. Wide for Aaron, but a bit of a good up and under. Wide goes down after a bit of contact, and that was always going to happen. We've talked about it already this evening. And through goes Lee Aberdeen, and the two Flaxton Sport cars, whether they're working together or not, moving up together.
Fitzpatrick with a meatball flag. Again, I don't know where Aaron was expecting him to go, though. That's the thing. Just drove into the back of him. He was just expecting the other car to disappear. And unfortunately now, Sam has a meatball flag, as it is known. There's three of them on the circuit. Well, actually, no, there's not. There's one of them on the circuit, one in the pit lane. Right now, again, Aaron right up behind the car in front. It was something that we noted from previous seasons, is that he follows very closely, but with seemingly no compromise for the potential consequence. Aaron Smith 2, the other one, the American, no disrespect to Aaron, following on from Alexis de Klerk and Jack Reeve, who are having their own fight as well. There's plenty of action to keep us entertained, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. And we're only, 11 minutes into the racing this evening. We'll have far more in that feature race to come a little bit later on. Sorry, I've got a bit of
Bless
funny
you.
little cough going on. But yeah, Aaron Smith, the second, trying to work his way through, of course, notionally in P6 now, because Sam Fitzpatrick will be coming in a minute, and this is a tight old train for what will be P3, headed by the other Aaron Smith. So, bit of a Reeve and de Klerk sandwich with some Aaron Smith bread at the moment.
Oh,
as well.
no.
3 wide momentarily. There goes Jack Reeve to the inside. De Klerk maybe coming through as well. They won't quite make it work, or side by side through there, but my word, everyone's going to be so careful. Fitzpatrick gone round again with a meatball flag.
He's still setting all right lap times, I suppose. Aaron Smith seems to have a problem in a straight line here because he was slow on the back straight, and now he's slow into the first corner as well. I'm not sure if he's got some sort of throttle issue or something, but the car was definitely not at full whack like everyone else's. Wow, it's slow through here. You don't quite realise until you're on board how slow it is, but let's watch here. Not quite sure Aaron has got the one in the black car hasn't got the full potential of that thing in a straight line. Look, there's definitely a big difference. He's defending for his life, though, down the inside. And Aaron Smith, too, trying to get back round him again. But it's when you get him to, like, third or fourth gear, look, he's got the run naturally. He doesn't even need the slipstream. He's just going to drive past him. So I'm not quite sure whether there is damage to the bottom of Aaron Smith's car that is slowing him down, in the long run.
Yeah, no, and I think that's an interesting point to make, because it does feel like he's dropped well off the pace, and this isn't what we saw from him just a little while ago. Lee Aberdeen he's firmly second, isn't he? He's basically got a second wrapped up with a bow on top. There will be 2 laps to go after this one as Reeve and de Klerk goes side by side in behind, inside line in the final corner for de Klerk as Reeve goes right the way around the outside and will hold on for the time being. And we've got to be careful because the American Aaron Smith is lurking, and right behind these two, they're going to take an interesting line in towards the opening corner. That might compromise them into turn 3. Is there going to be any advantage taken by the South Carolina? And yes, there will. Bit of a send. Not quite. That's covered off by de Klerk. But he saw it coming, the Frenchman.
He did, yeah. He knew what was up there, didn't he? Wow. Great respect, though, from de Klerk, because through that final corner there, he could have very easily tried to push his luck and understeered wide into Jack Reeve, but he didn't. He kept the car neatly tucked down the inside and kept it clean. It was a really good bit of driving, that. I'm a big fan of that. Now, Sam actually has 3 laps to serve that meatball flag, You can finish the race with one. I know that for a fact. We've seen it before, actually, in the championship, where a driver has still crossed the line after picking one up on the final lap. Alexis goes for the cutback, doesn't work. But I don't think Sam now. I think the last lap will be his final opportunity to serve it. So I think it will penalise him if he doesn't come in now, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, exactly. And at this late stage as well, you don't really want to be facing that kind of...
Oh, he's going to go for it anyway. I mean, he started 16th on the grid, let's not forget. He started right at the back of the grid. It's been an epic drive, but look, it's going sideways.
It's just not fun to watch, is it?
No.
Oh, no, it's fun to watch. It's just not fun to think about driving, is it? You can see that steering angle. It's slightly to the right. You could say it's dented, looking at the side of the car.
Yeah.
You've got de Klerk and Reeve fighting again as de Klerk goes right the way around the outside and make sure that he holds on to that P4 on this final lap of the race. Cranston's away. He will see the checkered flag first unless he has some kind of humongous mistake. But it is all up for grabs for P4, isn't it?
Absolutely is, yeah. But Cranstone did the fastest lap of the race on that previous lap as well, just to really shatter the morale a bit more of everybody else. A brilliant drive for him so far. Let's just see this into the hairpin one more time, because this battle is well and truly on. They're not actually as close as they have been before. I think Alexis is pretty safe here, unless Jack Reeve comes up with a completely unreasonable send, which we are not going to see from him. Still a great drive for Aaron Smith here, up 8 places. Danny Weir up 8 places as well. He started last on the grid in 18th position. And he's put in a good performance to grab a championship point. But out of the final corner to take the first victory of the night in the sprint race, and he's now won 1 of each in Formula CDM. Jake Cranstone wins at Homestead. Fantastic drive at the start of the night. Lee Aberdeen is going to come home in 2nd place, and we'll have to keep our eye on Sam Fitzpatrick and whether Flaxen Sport do indeed get a double podium. Aaron Smith, too, in the background, has had a spin out of the final corner. He's going to lose an extra place to Stuart Clark at the line. Oh dear, Aaron finishes in 8th place. 3 red cars together. John Tusting, Danny Weir, Simon Price just missing out on points. But what a drive that was by Jake Cranstone. And what a drive it was by Sam Fitzpatrick as well. I'm not sure if he'll keep that position after the meatball flag is applied and the penalty, because it does mean you have to come into the pits and get the car fixed. But he's done a really good job. The drivers are reminded that they have to do a full in-lap once the race is complete. It's just something we like to see here in Formula CDM. Don't even think the race is actually finished yet. I think we are still waiting for Sean Clark, actually. He's making his way around to complete his first race in Formula CDM in the Kalitta Motorsport machine. A little bit of a dent on the nose. Not quite sure if he's had a bit of a drama throughout the race. But that is the race completed. And the drivers will now head into a 10-minute warm-up session. But we'll have a look at the results of that first race of the night. Jake Cranstone takes the race win. 15 points go his way as a result, with Lee Aberdeen in second place. And Sam Fitzpatrick does complete the podium. Amazing. So he will start third on the grid as well. That's oh so important for him. Alexis de Klerk, more points in fourth position, with Jack Reeve in fifth. A very busy one for Aaron Smith again in sixth, with Stuart Clark seventh and Aaron Smith 2 finishing in eighth. He lost 3 places at the end there. Sorry, 2 places at the end. That is gutting. John Tusting inside the points in ninth in car 9. Danny Weir gets a championship point as well. And just outside of the points were Simon Price and Alex Fretwell, with Martin Kenyon, John Roberts and Sean Clark. And then Lee Berridge was 1 lap down after his incident partway through the race with Martin Kenyon. Victor Oliveira was 17th, with Kevin Zemstra also not finishing. Not a good race for Dragonfly competition. And unfortunately, that is quite hefty damage to their campaign here. But it looks like Victor is back out on track already, having a bit of a whale of a time with warm-up on the go here, Dara. But wow, that was pretty savage, that race.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was quite something. And it just goes to show this is a great track to go racing at, particularly in these cars. I mean, these cars could do any kind of racing, but great to see them go at it at a circuit like this where we don't get too much action. And yeah, it goes to show we do have a few drivers that are going to be names to look out for in the championship. Lee Aberdeen, of course, the one who scored far less points than he would have thought he could get last week, and clearly needing to chase after the championship leader already.
Yeah, it certainly seems like we have somebody to keep our eye on, and that will be Jake Cranstone. Alexis de Klerk has been brilliant as well. Very exciting driver so far this season. And we will update the points and stuff as it goes on, of course. Making sure that everybody gets their score, let's say. Just checking that the points have been scored, actually. At this point, we've got 3 drivers this week that we didn't have last week, which is good. So we've actually got a few more this time round. But what Dara and I are going to do is just take a quick 5-minute break here on Chaz Draycott Media while this warm-up session goes on. And we'll be back with you in a few for the feature race, the 40-minute feature here from Homestead, Miami. Don't go anywhere. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Dara Thacker here for the Formula CDM Americas Series from Homestead, Miami. It's the second round of the season, and well, Dara, we've seen a very busy first race of the night so far, haven't we? Which was over in a flash, but I'm sure this feature race is going to contain a lot more battling like we've seen.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got 40 minutes on the clock. When you've had 15 minutes of real frantic action and drivers just trying to scrabble to get themselves into the best starting position for this feature race, this is going to be, I think, pretty frantic. Particularly in the early stages, you want to be able to get yourself into a good position to work from, and then move forward from there. Far easier said than done, of course, and you do have to have that pit stop in the back of your mind throughout the opening stint of the race. When do you take it? How late in the race do you want to go before making that stop? And with this being a relatively short lap, we could be seeing drivers getting themselves lapped even just by pitting that little bit earlier than the rest. It is just going to be a bit of a chaotic race, but that's what we want, isn't it, really?
Yeah, 100%. We want an enjoyable and fun race to catch us off guard. That's what they very often do. We will see. Just updating a few little bits at this end here. I'm just going to check that the points are working at the moment, because we have changed the points over here, and that is apparently what the championship points look like now. I doubt that, because Jake Cranstone cannot be on 69 points. Surely. No, he can't be, because he was on 39 earlier on. No, it's doubled over, basically. There's an issue with the classes and the points and things at the moment, so we're not going to rely on that for the end of the night, unfortunately, everybody. But, yeah, you'll have to just bear with us, I'm afraid, because, yeah, there's been a lot of changes to the software that we use in terms of the classes, how everything is scored and so on. Yeah, it's a shame, but we'll get it fixed. We always do. But now, it's time to get ready for the feature race here, Dara. 40 minutes now ahead of us here at Homestead, Miami. Very short laps as well. This should be quite interesting.
It really should, and yeah, this has shown already to be a great little circuit to go racing at. Really does suit these nimble, light cars, and there's going to be a few drivers trying to get away at the front very, very early on.
Jake Cranstone will be one of them. Lee Aberdeen is going to go chasing as well. Sam Fitzpatrick and Alexis de Klerk on the second row of the grid. Then it's Jack Reeve alongside Aaron Smith to continue their fight. Stuart Clark is then alongside Aaron Smith too, with John Tusting and Danny Weir completing the top 10. Next up we have Simon Price and Alex Fretwell, Martin Kenyon and John Roberts on row 7. Sean Clark is alongside Lee Berridge, and then Victor Oliveira and Kevin Zemstra will line up on the final row of the grid as teammates at Dragonfly competition. For some reason, the sun's gone in and we're in Miami. It seems very, very strange, but I'm sure the action will heat up just now as the revs rise and the lights come on here at Miami, the wonderful Homestead, for the feature race in the Formula CDM Americas Series. And we're underway, and again, there's a car that doesn't get going. It's Jack Reeve in the middle of the field. The irony of that, considering he was the one that weaved out of the way in the first race, is unbelievable. But it's Cranstone and Aberdeen side by side down towards turn 1. Looks like a great start for Alexis de Klerk. Zemstra is off the road, so too is Jack Reeve. I really hope they haven't come together again. Zemstra looked like he was having another spin there as well. He's got a meatball flag too. He was competitive at Mid-Ohio, but now it's fallen apart. Fitzpatrick and Aaron Smith, I'm not going to say they're the best of friends. Let's see how they get on here, Dara.
Yeah, down in towards this right-handed hairpin for the first time in this race, side by side, locked together. It will be Smith who comes out on top for the time being, at least. A very long race, you could settle this one out, but they're going to want to exchange positions early on, aren't they? Fitzpatrick outside line is going to have to brake a lot later than Aaron if he wants to make that move work. Cuts back to the inside, very late move, very ambitious, very, very well done on the brakes as well to get it stopped and onto the apex. Bit of a squirm on the exit from Aaron Smith. That was a great little shift from Fitzpatrick to the inside.
Bit dangerous, but fantastic all the same from Sam. That's what we get from Sam. He's very committed, very on it as a driver. We've got those two still right together now, actually. Sam gets back in front here. No meatball flag this time round. Speaking of them, though, we will go back and look at what happened to Kevin Zemstra. Stuart Clark going well here. He's gained a position. Alex Fretwell has gained 4 in that first lap as well. He's the biggest mover in the field so far. But the top 2 remain the same. It's Jake Cranstone leading Lee Aberdeen as, Sam Fitzpatrick and Aaron Smith once again swapping places. I sometimes don't know if Aaron expects other cars to just disappear or something, but there's another sign of it there, running wide, and expecting Sam to get out of it. I mean, you know me, Dara, I hate the whole I'm entitled to this space. The only thing you're not entitled to is to push cars off the track, and it seems like Aaron wanted to do that a little bit there, but we'll have a look back at the move, though. It was very spicy.
No love lost, is there? Not
No,
at all.
not a
Here it is,
piece.
and down into turn number 1. Nice little bit of slipstream, getting himself ready. And that fleur-de-lis one was pointing as if an arrow to be fired, quite frankly, at the car in front. Inside line, it was actually quite well done, wasn't it, in the end there from Aaron Smith? A little bit tetchy on the exit, wasn't he? He was telling Sam that he wasn't going to leave him any room. And I think Sam's got the message loud and clear. Let's see how he responds to that.
Well, he's at the moment not able to respond by the look of it. We do go back to the start of the race once again here to look at Kevin Zemstra. It doesn't seem to want to play for some reason. There we go. See what Kevin got of this one, because he had his teammate just in front of him. Aaron Smith too has just gone off the road, unfortunately, and had a drama. Lights go out. Really good start for Kevin. He's going to gain a few places from that as well. Look at the run that he's got. Berridge over to the right. Jack Reeve over to the left. There's contact on the inside, and Kevin gets absolutely smacked by Jack Reeve. I think Jack bounced off Sean Clark, on the inside. We'll have a look here from Jack. Again, revs rise. I think he's, It's one of those cars, it won't shift into first while you're flat out. And, that's painful. The whole field spearing past him. And I think he turns in and, he just bounces off Sean Clark and then into Kevin Zemstra. Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, and I feel really bad that we both said that Kevin's a guy to watch out for tonight, because he hasn't even made turn 1 in either race, has he?
No.
He's not going to be feeling too happy about it. And neither's his fault, of course. So he's just not going to be happy-chappy. I hope he has, something to cheer him up this evening. Sean Clark, I think he thought he was braking a little bit too late, got a little bit panicky, and went for a bit of a spin. Aaron Smith, the South Carolinian, decided that he wanted to make a move. That's a very tight line onto the inside for the number 9. Does he get hit? No, he goes wide and then loses a bit of that rear end, and then all of a sudden can't get it back into the circuit. And it's what we've seen all evening long. Get it back under control. He just gets onto the tarmac and then turns it in the end.
Yeah, we also had a drama for the other Aaron Smith as well, the British driver. I think he's going to have an issue into turn 2, maybe. No. He does have an issue, though, at some point here. Maybe the car's going to get away from him out of here. It wasn't long after. So, he's over that curb. No, seems not. Apparently, he crashed and Stuart Clark got past him as well. Hopefully, Sam Fitzpatrick wasn't anything to do with it. We'll keep our eye on it. It might be something to do with that. Around it goes. Stuart Clark goes through. Aaron only lost 2 places in that, though. And we'll go back to how it is, because Lee Aberdeen leads this race now. He's gotten ahead of Jake Cranstone and then driven off. Do we want to see the move for the lead? I think we do, don't we? I don't want to do too many replays. That's all I'm thinking. This is the move. It's going to be down the inside. And it's going to be quite simple, this one, I imagine. Into the slipstream on the back straight. He did a great job to stay with Jake in the opening laps. Jake's going to give him all the room in the world. Nice and clean. Respectful stuff. He has a little look down the inside, but nothing doing. Really, really solid driving, that.
Yeah, sorry, you just tried for that little up and under, but it was never going to work through there, was it? With the short run to this secondary left-hander on this part of the circuit. De Klerk, I should say. Just trying to keep himself in touch with these top 2, because they're more than comfortably away from Sam Fitzpatrick. And the Fretwell, Clark, Smith, they're all another little bit behind. So De Klerk's in a good position to maybe be able to take advantage if Aberdeen and Cranstone do start fighting, which they have been doing, but clearly not, tooth and nail with how hard Cranston defended, which, a bit like Ocon defending like a lion at Qatar, right? He wasn't necessarily going to fight that one too hard. Danny Weir's going to have to defend pretty hard if he wants to keep his top 8. And he's done really well at the start of this season to be in these positions week after week, which he wasn't, I think it's fair to say, he's not going to hurt me for this, in last season, the European Series. So, had a good start to the season, but, you've got Kenyon Tusting, Reeve as well, trying to recover from what happened in the sprint race. There's a few of them that we were looking to move through.
Absolutely. Danny Weir doing a really good job so far this season. Aaron Smith gets ahead of Stuart Clark down the inside. Stuart, the higher placed of the 2 Spontex CDM Esports cars at the moment. Actually, him and Aaron are currently where they started this race. Stuart on for some solid championship points. I was going to say here in the United States tonight, but obviously the whole championship takes part in America, the United States hosting most of the rounds over the course of the season. We will venture out of the United States a couple of times. In fact, I think one of them is next week, is it not? No, it's not. We go to Road Atlanta next week. It's then Circuit Gilles Villeneuve the week after that. And then we head to Brazil later on in the season in the 25th of February to go to Interlagos. That's going to be fantastic. But yeah, the United States hosting 6 of the 8 rounds this season. It's a very tasty calendar, if I do say so myself. We're going Road Atlanta. We've got Laguna Seca, Belle Isle as well. Finishing the season at Barber Motorsports Park as well. Quite a seldom seen circuit in cars like this, I'd say.
Yeah, but they put, a circuit that suits these cars perfectly, really, doesn't it? With again, tight parts of the circuit, fast, nimble racing, really the key. Indy cars, you feel, are a little bit too wide to go around there at this stage, but they can still work a good race around that circuit. As we saw Cranston getting very close to the back of Aberdeen and maybe making a little bit of a mistake. Fretwell losing out to Smith as well. But yeah, I mean, you say it's a good calendar. I wonder why you say that, Chad. Who made the calendar again?
I don't know. Some idiot. I don't know.
Yes, you. That's right. So,
well, you know what? I often get told, because when I create a calendar for series, I always think, oh, I'd love to. Oh no, that's Alexis de Klerk. Lovely avoidance there by Sam Fitzpatrick. He takes 3rd place. Alexis was clearly pushing a bit too hard. That is a big shame for the Frenchman, but he didn't lose too much time. I was just going to say, I always think, oh, I'd love to watch some racing there, but then I never really think about the drivers and how much a car would be fun to drive there or how it would suit it. And this season, I've actually had quite a lot of compliments on the calendar because people have said, yeah, you know what, these cars will be good around there. I think it'll be really good fun. I don't think they're too happy about this place, but stuff them. They're racing it now. Lee Aberdeen still leads this race. 2 Flaxton Sport cars on a podium. That's more like what we expected when we drew the teams, wasn't it?
Yep, I think that's exactly what we thought. Aberdeen and Fitzpatrick, it's taken them, a week and a half, but they look like they really are going to be the team to be fighting for that team's title, particularly at the front of the field. Even despite a difficult week last week, they had pace, and they're showing it very much here tonight. Cranston, though, sticking very close to the back of the Aberdeen, of course, Drivers' Championship leader at the moment for that Wave Racing Tech, and it's the driver Lee Aberdeen's going to have to try and hunt down, not just this week, but over the course of the next few weeks as well. And putting yourself in front is going to help you out no end. What isn't going to help you out is to lose 2.5 tenths on that last lap.
Yeah,
that's exactly what Lee did, and Jake is right there, ready to pounce if any mistake is made by Lee.
Yeah, Lee's just got to focus forward now. He can't think about what Jake is doing behind, but it's so easy to say that. It's so difficult to do it. But Jake is one of those drivers where, given the opportunity here, he will not sit behind. He will go for the move, but it'll be calculated still when he goes and does it. Jake is one of those drivers. He's always got his head screwed on properly. You never really see him lose his head or do anything silly. He just knows how to win championships, He'll just do a little look like that, you see. He wasn't all over the road and flinging the car around. Just moved left, just to fill the mirrors that tiny bit. He's following very, very well at the moment behind the number 99. The Australian doing everything he can do. We do have quite the international international list this season. We have an Australian driver, we have a Frenchman, a Maltese driver as well in the form of Danny Weir, the American, Aaron Smith, Dutch driver, Kevin Zemstra as well, and even the Brazilian Victor Oliveira. It's a very international driver lineup. Side by side here, Jack Reeve and Martin Kenyon. Jack down the inside, gets the place, and Martin's going to give him a kiss on the way into the corner. Oh dear, I think he scared Danny Weir as well. Danny's now running wide. Look at that, John Tusting arrives on the scene. He's like, thanks boys, I'll take some of these places right off your hands. And just scoots on through. Wow. Yeah,
right around the outside of Reeve into that final corner, wasn't it? But it's going to be the inside line for Jack into turn number 1. More than enough. Goodness me, you could fit half an airliner on the inside there at turn number 1. Inside again for Martin Kenyon as Tusting all of a sudden going forwards and then losing 1, losing 2. If he can't stick it around the outside, he may lose a 3rd, and that rear slide's not going to help him out either, with Berridge coming right through. Meanwhile, fight for the lead once again. Cranston putting that good pace to good use. And Lee Aberdeen is feeling the pressure already down into his hairpin that turn there.
Absolutely is. Side by side for the race lead they go then. Cranstone on the outside, Aberdeen on the inside. 2 very different looking cars and drivers on completely opposite ends of the world. But this is why we love sim racing and online racing. One of these guys right now is in Australia. The other one is in the UK. And they are wheel to wheel here at a virtual Homestead Miami. It's fantastic bit of racing by the pair of them. Every inch is being utilised by these 2 drivers, but you know what? Lee Aberdeen put the car in the right place at the right time. He's just going to have to work so hard to get away from Jake Cranstone here. Both of these guys are absolutely imperious on their day. It's going to be hard to rattle either of them. 28 minutes still to go here at Homestead, Miami in the Formula CDM Americas Series. We hope you're enjoying the show here at the moment. You've got Chaz Draycott and Dara Thacker in the commentary box. I mean, we're having a whale of a time, aren't we, mate?
Well, yeah, not as much as Sam Fitzpatrick is watching this battle, to be fair, because he's gaining so much time on these two. That gap was about 3.5 seconds, now it's down to 2.2, and you can just see it materialising in front of him. It's just almost one car that he can see in front of him rather than two, with them running so close together. You know, he could do with Cranston having another couple of looks down the inside of some of these heavier braking zones just to lose them that little bit more time. And will there come a point where Lee maybe tries to back up Cranston into Sam Fitzpatrick if he feels like he's struggling on the pace himself? And you can see again a little bit of a look from the 78. It's not going to help his pace as Sam will continue to close in. But then you've got to be worried about Alexis de Klerk, because he's not a million miles away either. Good to see that we have competitive racing towards the front of the field, and in the mid-pack as Kenyon and Reeve go fighting. Yeah,
Martin Kenyon getting ahead of Jack Reeve just there. Not quite sure what the issue is for Jack, but the car doesn't seem to be going too quickly right now. I think there might have been a bit of contact or a drama in there, because Reeve has got a damaged front wing and the car isn't going full chat. So I might have to have a quick look at this and just see, because Jack, I think, was attacking Danny Weir. He was, and the car isn't damaged there. Oh, excuse me, I clicked on the wrong thing. Where is he? There. So he's not got any damage. Oh, Danny had to... Oh, he lost it. And then, yeah, that's why Jack got overtaken. Oh, no, Fretwell. Fretwell's been off. He's back on, though. He's survived. Reeve now coming down the pit lane. But, to be fair, it's the right time to do it because they are within the pit window now. I'll show you on the left-hand side. You can see the amount of pit stops. Aaron Smith, too, is the first driver to have stopped. He's just about to catch up to Sean Clark, the newcomer. Still finding his feet a little bit with the car, but at the end of the day, he's out there. And if there's enough retirees, because we've only got the 18 cars tonight, Sean could score points on his first night because the top 15 is what gets you those championship points.
Yeah, and really the top 15 means that pretty much everybody's going to get those points, right? So everybody is still very much kicking around and making sure that they are in contention for something out of this evening. Wide, that was Clark going very wide indeed, and Aaron Smith's going to pop himself through and up into P16. Lee Aberdeen continues on his merry way, but you can see Sam Fitzpatrick getting ever closer in the mirrors. 18.9 for Ali Aberdeen, 18.1 for Sam Fitzpatrick. That's a huge gain for the 71 on his teammate, as the top two are worrying too much about each other right now. They're racing Aberdeen in his rearview mirror and Cranston, you know, on the wheels of Aberdeen, rather than looking for his own racing lines to try and maybe find a way through, maybe try and find a better exit. And now all of a sudden Sam Fitzpatrick's getting all of that rubber that's being kicked up by the front two, hitting him in the visor.
Well, I tell you, Sam is going to be loving this right now, because he is now within a second of Jake Cranstone, so he will get a small helping of slipstream here. He's going to obviously have to battle against the fact that Jake is getting a lot of slipstream from Lee, so it'll probably stop Sam benefiting too much. But look at him pushing, really going for it. Lee Berridge has just come out of the pit lane after completing his first stop, and Aaron Smith too has just scooted on by. But they are the three drivers so far that have pitted in this race. Nobody else yet has come in. Will any of these guys blink early on, or are they going to go the long haul here? We saw Sam Fitzpatrick pit early back at Mid-Ohio, and it really worked out for him, actually, didn't it?
Yeah. And, I mean, Mid-Ohio and, you know, Homestead, Miami, very different circuits. You can't really compare them, but at the same time, if you can find pace at both of them, it's going to serve you well throughout the rest of the championship, showing that you can work well on circuits that, you know, are a good variance of what we're going to see throughout the rest of the calendar over the course of this season. So yeah, definitely positive to take it now over in towards the next few weeks of this quickly evolving championship. Sam Fitzpatrick, he went a little bit wide there at turn 2, didn't he? Touched the grass a bit, and that lost him a good half a second in the top two. I wonder if he's maybe starting to watch that rear end of Cranston too much as he starts to catch, and maybe is ever so slightly overdriving that car to try and gain the time that he already was without doing too much work himself. So it could easily become a 3-car battle for the lead. He's got to be careful about that.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to be very, very cautious in these circumstances. You can't overdo it. And I think that sometimes the drivers will get excited about the fact that they're catching up to another battle and then, yeah, like I say, in turn, overdo it. So, yeah, we'll keep our eye on this fight, and we'll keep our eye on Cranstone and Aberdeen. They are coming up to the back of Victor Oliveira in the Dragonfly competition car. He is just going on to lap 12 now. He had a drama earlier on, and then he's had a pit stop recently, so that's what's dropped him down so much. But look how close Cranstone is to Aberdeen. It is one 8-wheeled PM18 at this moment. It's a PM36. Aaron Smith, car 42, just doing the fastest lap of the race. 1:17.931. First driver, I think, to go underneath the 1:18s with their fastest lap. Very well done there for Victor Oliveira. Lovely bit of lapped traffic behaviour there. Moving over on a straight, making life easy, and then slots back in. Really tidy. Good stuff. Alexis de Klerk has Aaron Smith right behind him now. Was a bit too close for comfort, but this is what I mean. Like, even on the brakes, like, there's no compromise for Aaron at all. He just drives the car as if there's no other car in front of him to slow down for, and it's going to be his own worst enemy if it continues, but you can just see how good he is on the brakes. Very good at getting it stopped. Knows exactly what he's doing. He won an F3 championship as well, did Aaron Smith, so certainly a driver qualified to do well in this. Just needs to keep it tidy.
Yeah, he does, and that's probably easier said than done, given the close quarters. But a driver with this kind of experience, I think, will be able to pick out exactly where and when to push the needle that little bit more to try and race that little bit further up the field. Let's see if we're out of the final corner. It really is it's a huge smash, isn't it, into that oval?
Yeah.
That's so hard. Good job they're not having to worry about their backs and all of this. As Cranston goes around the outside, he's still around the outside at turn number 3. Can he make this one work? Not quite, and he's going to have to drop behind. And all of a sudden, going that little bit extra wide, that gap to Sam Fitzpatrick is going to be smaller than it is between him and Lee Aberdeen now. Those three really now are trained for the lead. As you can, I barely see at all that battle for fourth in the background. These are the three drivers going for the win, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of these three at the front of the field over the course of the season.
We absolutely are. The move did come from Aaron Smith. He went down the inside. I think he's going to cut across here. Really tucks it in. Whoa, it's a little bit out of control, but I think Alexis has gone deep as a result, and he has. And Aaron actually manages to unsettle Alexis enough to get through down the inside, and he's going to have no overlap to play with from there. Fair stuff from Alexis, though. Everything that we've seen so far from Mr. de Klerk has been really, really clean. In fact, it was him and Aaron that came to blows back at Mid-Ohio as well, when Aaron went down the inside. There was a bit of contact which dragged the two cars together, and then unfortunately a bit more contact which spun the pair. But what a great battle we've got at the front as... For God's sake, Chaz. Cranstone losing the back end. It seems like one too many slides there. And now he's lost that place to Sam Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, let's see it again in towards the final few corners. We'll see it from Sam Fitzpatrick's point of view. This will be the best place to really get a grasp of what happened. Going through the left-hander, yeah, just too aggressive, isn't he, on the throttle, trying to stay right behind Lee Aberdeen at the front of the field. And, well, I mean, Christmas has come very early for Sam Fitzpatrick. Earliest it's ever come, I think, quite frankly. And he's now up into the top two. And that little yellow team at Flaxen Sport are loving life right now, aren't they?
They really are, having a fantastic time, first and second. This is Alexis de Klerk coming out of the pits. He's had John Tusting in front of him there. That wasn't a car for position. I think that was Victor Oliveira going through, actually, on this part of the lap. Yes, it is. He's now got Martin Kenyon about... Well, it's still counting down, actually. He's about 13 seconds back. So Alexis is doing okay. Martin Kenyon is then the higher placed of the drivers that has pitted. Jack Reeve and Aaron Smith, too, are having a good scrap as well. Sean Clark is then the only other driver not to pit yet in that second half of the field, but it's the top 8 yet to pit. We've got a battle going on between the two red machines of Danny Weir and John Tusting. These two both taking it easy, as I imagine they're coming into the later stages of their stint right now. But yeah, Flaxen Sport 1-2. We saw a great performance from the pair of them in that earlier race, second and third. An amazing performance by Fitzpatrick from 18th on the grid, I believe it was. But now up into second place from third. Not as many places gained, but still as impressive a drive, if any.
Oh, absolutely. And with still a long time, left to try and gain, and maybe overtake the Aberdeen's teammate for the race win. Of course, both of these guys could do with the points in terms of the individual drivers' standings. Teams, of course, they're looking pretty good as they go forward. But last week, Fitzpatrick only picked up 7 points, Lee Aberdeen only the 12. And I mean, you can see from the pace that they've got here this evening, they had a lot more on the table that they could have won. And it wasn't the best start to the season in terms of that championship column, but they did show that they were going to be contenders throughout the season. And that was just the first instalment of the 10 that we're going to be going to. 8. Is it 10 or 8? I'm getting myself confused. 8. It's okay. Sorry, I'm getting confused.
We've got
tomorrow.
10 ESR rounds, not ESR.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
God, it's not even ESR. It's SRI.
Well, there you go. SRI and CDM, and there's GT, whatever.
Yeah.
So many acronyms. But yeah, 8 rounds. You want to start in the best way possible, but even if you can't get the points on the board early, just to give yourself that confidence boost and show yourself that you can really pull forward is what you need to do. And to come into the pit lane from first and second, with everybody else coming in behind you, meaning that you're likely to leave the pit lane in first and second, is a pretty nice thing to be happening to you.
Absolutely. These two now, both into their box. Jake Cranstone goes through as well. You can see them positioning the cars strategically. Both of the Flaxton Sport cars down and away in flying formation. Lovely stuff that as they leave the pit lane then. Cranstone is next up. Aaron Smith next up behind them. What about Alexis de Klerk? Because let's not forget, he pitted before these guys. He was hoping to get back in front of Aaron Smith, I imagine, but Aaron is just up there, up the road. He has had a really, really good lap or so, because look how close he is to the back of Jake Cranstone all of a sudden.
Yep, and Cranston, after that spin, really has put himself into a little bit of jeopardy now and given Aaron Smith something to really race for as we go in towards the second half of this race.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Really pushing there, and he was very sideways. Good mates Simon Price and John Roberts having a bit of a scrap here for the final 2 point scoring positions into the first corner. John Roberts in the Derrington Francis machine scored points in his first appearance in the feature race at Mid-Ohio. Lee Berridge, by the way, he is on to score points in this race, so that would mean that all teams have scored points so far this season if it stays that way. So we'll keep our eye on him and how he gets on. Hopefully Blade Speed Esports can go some way towards upholding some honour. They are EU champions, but both drivers left the squad at the end of the season, meaning Lee Aberdeen headed to Flaxton Sport as part of the random team draw, of course. And Fraser Smith, reigning European Series champion, not here for this season. So still plenty to keep our eye on in terms of teams championships. It's looking like we're going to get a new US Americas Series champion. But either way, it's going to be an exciting season because it's very, very hard to predict. I say that, Lee Berridge has just had a spin. Oh, for God's sake. The curse is strong tonight.
It is. Yeah, whatever it is, it's just not going well for either of us up here. But Lee is still in points-winning position, but down in P13. It's not going to be the biggest of hauls, but it would require quite a big mistake, for him to not score any points tonight. We'll get into the final 15 minutes with him holding, a good 40-second advantage over those drivers outside of the points. Lee still just in front of Sam Fitzpatrick, but you can see they've got a bit of a gap further back to Cranston and Smith. The car just in behind them is Mr. Sean Clark in the 68. I didn't have to just look at my piece of paper, I promise you. But he is a lap down, so not to be worried about. You can see those two cars just behind him. He gets out of the way. That is the battle for third, Cranston and Smith. And these four drivers are the four that can fight for the win. And I say third and fourth can fight for the win because you never know what can happen, particularly between teammates, whether they fight for it hard or whether they're nice to each other.
Well, I mean, we saw in the earlier race they definitely weren't being nice to each other, and looks like no matter what team Lee Aberdeen is part of, there are definitely no team orders to hold position. He and Fraser Smith had a lot of battles last season as well for race victories. Looks like him and Sam Fitzpatrick are going to have the same this time round as well. It would be very impressive for Lee Aberdeen to be a part of a championship winning team for 2 seasons running, but we'll have to see whether that comes to fruition, because Jake Cranstone alone was tied for the lead of the team's championship with them after, of course, the first round at Mid-Ohio. Looks like Aaron Smith is getting a bit racy here. He's going to go down the inside. No, he's not. He's good on the brakes, though, is Aaron, like we've said. So it's definitely something he's going to try and do on Jake, is send one up the inside. I think he knows that they're not really in fighting distance with Lee Aberdeen and Sam Fitzpatrick now. So if something is going to net either of these two a win, it's going to be an incident or something that costs them a colossal amount of time. So they are going to just see it as we may as well battle amongst ourselves and try and save whatever time we can elsewhere. But at the moment, we've got the same 3 drivers that finished on the podium in the first race, about to finish on the podium in the second race. I say about to, it's 13 minutes yet.
Yeah, I mean, just about the distance of the opening race itself, right? So still a little while to go in this one. A little bit of a look, nothing going there in the end from Smith on Cranston to Clerk, running his own race just in the background there, just a few seconds off, but comfortably ahead of Fretwell, who himself is on his own, as is Stuart Clark in that 23. A couple of clumps further back, but with not the the greatest amount of cars on the circuit, it's not a particularly big surprise to see a couple of gaps forming. But good that we've got these battles for some of the top end positions and for the biggest points in the championship heading into the last 10 laps or so of this race at Miami. A track that I'm hoping to see more racing at in the future, because this has been great.
It really has, hasn't it? I really want to just send another series here just for a laugh, the British Boring Car Championship maybe. One day Donington, next day Alton, Homestead, Miami. Just throw it in the calendar. No, there is. I'm not going to get people's hopes up with that. There will be no more British Boring Car Championship. We have retired that idea. Kenyon, he's not retiring the idea of defending from Aaron Smith, but it looks like Aaron has just whittled him down enough to get through the defences there and moves up into 9th position. He is recovering after a spin early on in the race. He went miles off the circuit, but the EMKA racing driver now well back in contention. No sign of his teammate here this evening. I believe he's teammates with Rob Lundgren this season. He is, yeah. Rob Lundgren unfortunately couldn't make Mid-Ohio. No sign of Taylor Lane yet either, the teammate of Alexis de Klerk. Alexis has been one of the, I don't want to say surprise contenders, but he's been a real revelation to have right up there at the sharp end. Came into this race meeting 7th in the championship, but at the end of the day he was only 1 point off 5th place, so it's very, very close. And yeah, unfortunately no sign of Kio Tiago Marteau yet either, the, I believe, still Williams Esports driver, who could be very much in the mix, to say the least. He dominated some of the race meetings he took part in last season, and he will be racing for Team Verde, but his teammate at the moment, Alex Fretwell, is going pretty well in 6th position in the green car. But right now the battle on your screen is Cranstone versus Smith, and these two are not going to give up anytime soon, are they?
No, they're not. Oh, that's a bit of a wiggle though from Cranston. This is going to be a great chance for Aaron Smith to try and make his move now in that number 42, and you can see that defensive line being thrown from Cranston already as they make their way towards turn number 1. Very tight line then for the championship leader, and a little bit of the grass is touched by Smith in that 42. Inside line is his though, as he claims a great run out of turn 2. He's got number 3, there's contact, but there wasn't really anything that Aaron could have done there on the inside line. Didn't drift off the racing line too far. I'm not exactly sure. We'd have to see it on board, of course. But Jake did try and defend that aggressively. He's ended up losing to de Klerk. But, I mean, on initial side, that didn't look too bad, did it? As he gets to the inside, let's see, cuts back, and then he just pops it up the inside. He's entitled to more than enough room. Bit of a slide, but seemed okay.
Yeah, I think it was just the slide put the rear axle where it wouldn't normally be, I guess. And, yeah, just a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. I don't think it was anything ridiculous, so, yeah, unfortunate for Jake Cranstone, but that's the way it goes in Formula Cars, wheel-to-wheel contact like that. He's lucky, though. He didn't get a meatball flag for it, so he's able to continue at what looks like full pelt. Doesn't look like the steering's knocked out or anything, so, yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah, and can continue onwards. But it's just a shame for him, because, of course, for Cranston, he was fighting for that race win with Aberdeen, and then Fitzpatrick was allowed in, and the moment lost him. Oh! Well, goodbye. And that's Alexis out of contention. That is how not final corner here at Homestead Road, quite frankly. And he's got a meatball flag, and no wonder. That was a huge hit.
Well, Alex Fretwell did post in practice that he finally found out how to get too close to those tyres. They will throw you off the circuit, and bang! Big, big damage to the front left. It's bent some of the suspension arms. And unfortunately, Alexis will have to come in. They're the margins we're dealing with here, though, Dara. It is tiny, tiny margins.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that is not a high tyre barrier, is it?
No.
At all. It feels more like a karting circuit than a professional race car circuit with how high that is. But as it is, you've got to be so careful. And sadly for Alexis, he was not. And that's going to give Fretwell a P5. It's going to move Stuart Clark up into the top 6, Reeve into the top 7, etc., etc. all the way down the field, but it's put Cranston back into 4th, who, I mean, had been slipping down the field through little mistakes that he'd been making, so a little bit of a recovery for him there, but the battle that we're going to have to focus on in the last handful of laps is this battle between the teammates for the win.
Yeah, I still love how these two look like 1970s Renault Formula 1 cars with the white, yellow and black. Almost like the, maybe I think into the 80s actually, during the turbocharged era, Renault had the white and yellow with the big Renault branding on the rear wing. Alexis de Klerk into the pit lane then, unfortunately, to serve the meatball flag. We call it a meatball, it's a black and orange flag officially, but we call it the meatball because it's one big orange circle. Just means that within 3 laps you have to get the car fixed. I mean, look at the steering. Steering is way, way out. We didn't notice that earlier on, but yeah, unfortunately for him, it is very damaged. You'll see just how fast a fast repair works, or how fast it should work. There you go. Back out on the circuit, steering straight, and he's still in the points as well, which is good, so he'll at least get something for it. Danny Weir is going to try and scoot around the outside. Nothing yet, but give Alexis a second just to warm back up. He didn't change his tyres or anything, so he should be back on form and back up to pace straight off the bat. But yeah, a huge shame that for the Frenchman, because we were just singing his praises earlier. Yeah,
we were. And he was doing such a great job over the course of, I mean, not just this race, but of course last week as well. It's just unfortunate to have that little moment happen, and you can see how close it was to not happening in the first place. It's just such a tight margin on that barrier every single lap, and I mean, he's still in the top 10 after getting that damage repaired, so we'll see if he can chase after Kenyon, but you'd think 9 seconds in 6 minutes is a little bit of a tall task. 6 minutes 33 to go, though, means that we only have, 5 laps to go in this race, so not a long time to find out who's going to be our race winner, and Fitzpatrick hasn't made a glove on Aberdeen, has he, in the last 15 minutes?
No, he's really not. He's just had to sort of sit and follow in his wheel tracks, really. Doesn't look like he's, I mean, from what we've seen anyway, he's not been for any sort of aggressive moves or anything. He's just doing what he needs to do. He moves over to the right a bit early. It's not really an offensive move, and Lee isn't really going particularly defensive or anything. I think they are just working together as teammates right now just to try and use this opportunity. They've got nearly 5 seconds over Aaron Smith. This is a golden chance to get some big championship points on the board. I mean, if they finish here, they get 55 points for the team. I think last season we only saw 1-2 in the entire season, actually. I'm just going to have a quick look at the points from last time. Just going to check between the Blade Speed drivers. No, actually. Not a single 1-2. By the look of it, there was a 2-3. But there was not a single 1-2 finish between Lee Aberdeen and Fraser Smith last season. Wow.
Which is incredible when you think about how many points they accrued, obviously, over the course of the season. So, yeah, incredible that they didn't then find themselves at 1-2 at the same time. I mean, it hasn't been wrapped up just yet, has it, for Aberdeen and Fitzpatrick? They still have to make sure they get to the end, and we've seen little mistakes creep in, particularly from de Klerk, for really what was just an innocuous error that ended up being so costly. Aaron Smith the second, of course he's not Aaron Smith the second, but you know, I mean, he is trying to chase after Jack Reeve. Of course, the teammates in Jack Reeve and Stuart Clark just up in front. I think Reeve's going to be firm and solid in his defence, but Clark's going to be looking in his wing mirrors a little bit more than he was a couple of minutes ago, because these two do feel like they're arriving on the scene pretty quickly. And P6 is some big points in a race like this early in the championship.
Absolutely is. To be honest with you, I'm not going to lie that I am I'm not a little bit biased and happy about the fact that Spontex CDM Esports cars are going well here. 2 of them inside the top 10. Very well done, gentlemen. Stuart is a long-time supporter of me and my sim racing ventures. He's a lovely, lovely guy. I met him through the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Championship, and he has since supported CDM Banner Series. It's been great to have him. They were randomly drawn. I didn't get to pick these drivers, but they were drawn as part of the team, him and Jack, this season. Jack is a very exciting driver, very quick indeed, not one to back out, but they get to drive what I think is the lovely, it's actually a matte white, is this car. You can sometimes see the reflection of the number boards and things reflecting differently to the rest of the car, but all the stickers and everything are glossy, but the actual body is a matte white design. on this machine. I mean, it doesn't really reflect a huge amount, but at the moment it's reflecting Aaron Smith's big blue MKA racing car in the flesh, because he's right on the scene, isn't he?
He's right there and ready to make a move if you make a mistake, which is exactly what Reeves done. He's got a little bit wide, and that car is going to lose all momentum down in towards this left-hander. Let's see, is there enough of a chance for Aaron Smith to dive it to the inside? He's taking the outside line for the time being. He's not going to dive to the inside because he's got enough of an overlap. Brakes very, very late, brakes too late. Big steering snap, and he just about gets it back into a straight line, but they are closing down on Stuart Clark. But if they keep making little mistakes like that, they're not going to be able to make a move for P6.
No, definitely not. They've got to be careful when they get there as well. Off the banking once more. The speed through there is absolutely brilliant. Love watching them come down off there. It's a very simple circuit actually on paper, but some of the elevation and the curbs and things make it very tricky. Aaron really threw it at those tyres there. But now the two Spontex CDM Esports cars are flying in formation. Is Jack going to have a go here and try and get past his teammate? Certainly looks like it. He wants to try and outbrake him, but Stuart is acting as if he's not there right now, and he's just saying, nope, I'm holding my ground, sir. I will not be jumping out of your way anytime soon in that bright green lid. At least you can tell the lids apart from distance very easily, as well as the car numbers, of course. But yeah, you can still tell which is which from just lid alone. Jack Reeve with this very bright green design looks down the inside into the hairpin, tries to outbrake Stuart, but doesn't work. Stuart setting a big old black streak of rubber around the hairpin, and suddenly Reeve is now back under attack again.
Here comes Smith once more, same corner as it was last time by, and it's the same line he's going to be taking, outside line. I thought he would have tried to claim the inside line. Is it the same outcome? Nearly exactly, yeah, but it's wide from Stuart Clark. That's going to open the door for Reeve, and Smith's now got a chance to try and get in the middle of both of them. Reeve with an inside line, Clark on the outside, but slightly ahead on the overlap as they work their way into this left-hander. It's fast. It really is dangerous, and look at how tight Jack Reeve is to the inside. I don't know where Stuart Clark's gone, but I think he's gone off to Cuba or something. And Smith's got the inside and put himself into P7.
I think Stuart thought, you know what, boys, I'm going to get myself out of that. I don't want anything to do with it. And Reeve actually was the one that sent it down the inside of Stuart into the hairpin, I think, and it scared Stuart a bit wide, and he thought, yeah, again, I don't want any of that, thank you very much. There's going to be one lap to go after this, and the Flaxen Sport drivers are 1 and 2. And this is exactly what they want for their team's championship. But will it change in the final lap, Dara? I don't know whether we're going to see a big sudden send from Sam Fitzpatrick. I think Lee seems to think he's under threat, but he's moving around a little bit as if to sort of break the toe early there from Sam. But usually by now, if Sam wanted to make a move, we'd have seen one. I imagine he's probably happy to just sit in second, but this is Sam. He's quite unpredictable.
Yeah, and I mean, as you get on towards the penultimate lap of the race, you're not really going to be wanting to wait around for too much longer if you do indeed want to make this move, and I think he does, as he's looking to try and find a way through, and Lee's defending that inside line. Outside for Sam, can he hook it all the way through turn 2? No, and Lee will stay ahead for the time being, but he's opened the door as he in towards turn 3, inside for Sam. Can't quite make it stick this time by, but Lee is all over the wrong parts of the road at the moment.
This is like Villeneuve versus Pironi in the Ferraris. They got told to hold position, and Pironi didn't. Gilles Villeneuve never spoke to him again, and never did until his death, unfortunately. And now we've got this battle between these two teammates that rivals that of the Ferraris back then, side by side on the final lap between the two Flaxen Sport cars. Fitzpatrick in the white and red helmet, Lee Aberdeen in the black helmet. Nothing frantic or extravagant about either design. There's wheel-to-wheel contact between the teammates. It was always going to happen. Neither of them wanted to give an inch. I think Sam lost it a little bit, and Lee had a slight slide as well. But Aberdeen holds on to the race lead. Oh, dearie me, Dara. It's not what we want to see.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's called a motor race, Toto. Quite frankly, I think that's what you could say about that one, isn't it, really? You know, there wasn't anything that either of them did wrong there. It's just how it occurred. This was the final lap. I don't know why I did the penultimate lap last time by, and Lee's just about done it.
Lee Aberdeen wins in Homestead, Miami. What a night for the Flaxen Sport team, first and second. Aaron Smith gets a great podium in third place. Jake Cranstone won't be too upset with that. Fourth place after the busy race that he's had. Very well done, sir. On the back straight right now, we have Jack Reeve and Aaron Smith. We do, however, have Alex Fretwell ahead of the pair of them. We'll look at him in just a moment when they resolve this. It looks like that is all done. Fretwell with a top 5 at Homestead. Well done, sir. You can tell he's happy with that one. Jack Reeve out of the final corner. Is he going to hold on ahead of the American Aaron Smith on his home turf? He is just about there. Stuart Clark next up in 8th place. Martin Kenyon putting in a great drive, by the way, to make it up into 9th position. And he's going to score himself a top 10. You've got a feel for Alexis de Klerk, though, haven't you? He really did well there, albeit for that simple error. Whoa! What on earth? What was that about?
Yeah.
Go, Danny.
Sure. He's going to lose that. He's going to lose that 2 places, isn't he? Oh no, Danny Weir on the run to the line loses out another couple of spots. It was going to be P11 for him, but in the end, after whatever the hell this was, he's down to P13. Let's see it from Lee's point of view. 2 more corners to go. Checker flags we need to do.
Oh no.
It's just unlucky, isn't it?
Very, very unlucky. He did only lose 1 place in the end, actually. That was Sean Clark in the Kalita Motorsport car that went through. He was a lap down on the guys, so it was John Tusting that benefited from getting by on the run to the line. So Danny, luckily, I mean, well, he did lose 2 places, actually, losing the place to Stuart Clark. No, not Stuart Clark, sorry. To Lee Berridge. That will mean that the team that is currently European Series champions score their first points of the season. But boy, another very busy race night is finished here at Homestead, Miami in the Formula CDM Americas Series. Lee Aberdeen takes his first win of the season, and it's the first ever 1-2. Flaxton Sport first and second, with Sam Fitzpatrick having 2 podiums in one night, same as Lee. Aaron Smith next up in third, with Jake Cranstone in fourth. Alex Fretwell, great night for him with the top 5. Jack Reeve finished in 6th ahead of Aaron Smith too. Then it was Stuart Clark in 8th ahead of Martin Kenyon and Alexis de Klerk. Lee Berridge finishes in 11th ahead of John Tusting, and Danny Weir unfortunately missing out on a couple of points there. John Roberts gets some more championship points, so too does Simon Price, and Sean Clark just misses out on his first night in the championship. Victor Oliveira and Kevin Zemstra both retiring after a miserable night for Dragonfly competition. So we'll go back in time and we will slow it down. We'll see if we can speak to some drivers straight after that one, Dara, but what a great night we've had here with all of the action going on circuit. It's been pretty endless, isn't it?
Yeah, fast and frantic, and showing exactly where we're going to this circuit. It's a really great track to go racing, and yeah, delighted that we've been here because you could see the quality at every single corner of the possibilities for overtaking manoeuvres, and you never really know where to look next. And yeah, I hope I get to commentate more races around here because it's one of those circuits that you don't really talk about much because no one puts it on their calendar, but when you put it on the calendar, it does really well. So yeah, great to go racing here.
Absolutely, it was a real belter, and somebody I'm sure that will probably agree with us after that one, after scoring a hell of a lot of points tonight, will be Sam Fitzpatrick. Sam, welcome to the booth, great to have you. That looked busier than busy tonight. You had to do a hell of a lot of recovering and then a hell of a lot of hard driving and overtaking.
Yeah, I made it tricky for myself, didn't I? I like to do a full reverse. So, there's been some talk about the reverse, and you know what? I just thought, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's just have a full reverse for race 1, shall we? And mess up my quali lap at T1. So, locked up there. And then, yeah, it was just incredible that everyone else just wasn't pulling away at the start. I don't know if they were battling or what, but me and Aaron managed to catch back up to them. Had a little bit of a battle ourselves, which unfortunately had a bit of contact, and then yeah, sort of made things quite tricky for myself in race 2 as well. But fortunately, the top 2 fought a bit, and then it was quite a good battle with Lee to the end. So yeah, it was a bit busy. And I mean, this circuit is so tough, like so many corners. Like T1, obviously I messed up in quali, easy to mess up there. The final corner was terrifying every time you go onto the banking. There's that fast left-hander where he feels like you're going to go off the circuit every single time. There's a couple of corners where you just randomly get some oversteer every 5 laps. Really tricky track to do it, so that was tough enough there than the other drivers.
I was going to say you had a really good battle with Lee in that second race there. No team orders, I take it, between the two. Has there been any teammate communication at all?
No, not really. Like, I think we sort of worked together in race 1, I think, a little bit as well. I think we're both fairly sensible drivers where, you saw at the end there, like for 15 minutes, I basically just hung behind Lee so that there was no one else involved, and then tried to fight in the last 5 minutes. I mean, that last lap, it's crazy how the net code, obviously he's based down under, so I get it. But like his car, flipped over my car almost on that last lap when we made contact, and then I see the replay and there's just the tiniest of rear wheel contact. So initially I crossed the line and thought, I don't know I don't know what's going to happen post-race here, but now I see it, like, absolutely fair dues from Lee, did nothing wrong, and yeah, fully deserved race win. I think he was probably the fastest driver today, so really deserved it.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the subject of Lee, we were saying that you know, it was devastating last week at Mid-Ohio that he was so quick, had such a great opportunity, and then had such a tiny mistake to lose the win. It was good to see him back on form tonight, but great to see you up there as well, of course, Sam. You know, you've always been rapid in Formula 1 and in the Formula CDM Series as well, so it's great to have the two Flaxen Sport cars battling for those big points. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to while we've got you?
Well, thanks to my family. I don't know if they tuned in on this one. I don't know if they've just, you know, thought, you know what, Sam,
we're bored of
like
Chaz.
him. Well, no, I don't take it personally, Chaz, honestly. You know, like, you know, I think you do it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong that you've done, you know. I think you've been excellent, honestly. I don't think there's a fault they can possibly say towards you, but I don't know, you know, over the last 25 years, there's probably a fair amount that I could have done better. So, you know, maybe they've not tuned in because of that. But you know, we move on. So yeah, maybe thanks to them if they're tuning in. Thanks to you guys for putting on the series, putting on the broadcast. Thanks to Apex Racing Simulators. Check out our social media because we've got quite a good announcement coming up soon. So that's Apex Racing Sim. Check out the Instagram for that. Will be very relevant if you're based in the East Midlands. And yeah, thanks to all the other drivers. Was a lot of fun. I appreciate it that they didn't all drive away from us in race 1, and they gave me a shot in race 2 as well. So I appreciate that, and yeah, look forward to next week.
Me too, Sam. Fantastic stuff. Thank you as always, mate, and we'll see you at Road Atlanta.
See you then.
Road Atlanta is going to be an absolute corker, is it not, Dara? We have got a treat ahead of us, but Sam's looking fast at the moment, and he's feeling a bit more confident now after a better week.
Yeah, and that's what you need, isn't it, really? Just to get those points on the board. You can have that pace last week and show that you've got the abilities to score those points, but then you've actually got to go and do it, right? So to then pick the points on the board and put himself into championship contention, put himself towards the end of qualifying, of course, next week, as the further up you get in the championship, the later and later you get in that qualifying session, it's going to be a bit of a confidence boost and a good momentum swing for him, I think, going into Road Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm intrigued to see how he gets on there. The man that finished just behind him and was just behind him on our screens just there, actually, was Mr. Aaron Smith, one of the two that we have, but the one with the less sort of in-your-face accent. Mr. Smith,
hello.
Welcome to the booth, mate. How are you? Good to see you again. You've had a busy start to your season again.
Yeah, that's, I mean, a bit of an understatement, to be honest. Yeah, it's been absolutely mental, these first 2 rounds. It's 2 tracks I've literally never driven before. I bought Miami today, so I got home from work and bought it, did an hour's practice, and then jumped straight in.
Wow.
I think, yeah, a lot of people like me initially thought it was going to be the Miami Grand Prix track, but
I'm aware.
We were severely mistaken. But to be fair, this track isn't horrible, but it's not great. Like the last corner, especially in these cars, is pretty awful because you're basically just slamming the car onto the track, which just really unsettles the car and it makes it very, very scary. I think Jake spun out there at some point, but it's been chaotic, as I'm sure you've probably seen, but it's been fun, kind of, so far. But I just hope things go a little bit cleaner over the next few rounds.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, we often see it at the start of a season, even if, you know, there's drivers that aren't new to one another. As long as it's a new season, everyone's trying to get out the gates quickly. It can be a bit chaotic, but at the end of the day, you've kept us entertained, that's for sure, Aaron. As always, you know how it is. But we've got Road Atlanta next time out. It's a circuit that a lot of people know very well because, obviously, the Petit Le Mans is something that a lot of us have done a lot of laps at. How are you feeling about going there in these cars, though? Because it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think these cars ever dream about going around a track like Road Atlanta, to be honest. It's very much built for multi-class and GT3 and hypercar racing, and I've never driven around that track really in a Formula car. I think I drove there in F3 a few times, and it was pretty good. I mean, the first 3 corners are kind of terrifying, especially following in dirty air. It can really catch you off guard if you're not careful, but it's the first track this season I'm actually looking forward to. I think that the next batch of circuits after this are going to be really good. I'm looking forward to Canada.
I was going to say, what calendar are you looking at?
Oh no.
I hate COTA with such a passion. You got me scared that I'd let it slip in or something.
Oh yeah, no, thank God. Yeah, COTA is a bit
miserable.
Yeah,
These
not
cars
great.
wouldn't get up the hill.
Oh no, yeah, it would be horrible. You'd be doing like 3-minute lap times in this thing. But no, I'm looking forward to Montreal. I really like Circuit de Villeneuve. It's really fun. I think in these cars it's going to be a blast. Laguna Seca, I mean, I don't know who to comment. It's just always a really fun track. And then yeah, Belle Isle. And then in Interlagos and Barber should be pretty fun. But yeah, it should be. I think a pretty good rest of the season. I think everyone's, like you said, got their steam out their system. It's been the first few rounds. I think everyone hopefully will start to calm down now.
Well, fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Jack, I mean, you know, you called it out last week, the fact that me and him are in the same Discord call all the time. And my girlfriend, who's currently sitting on the couch, doom scrolling, or watching the stream on the TV. But yeah, it's been fun first few rounds so far. The only bone to pick I have with you, Chaz, is 53 degrees track temperature.
Listen, I click moderate, right? I click moderate. You lot make it warm.
53 degrees. But I'm surprised my tyres didn't melt.
Yeah, I'll look at it. I mean, you're in Miami.
Please do. I've been to Miami. It's hot, but it's not this hot, I promise.
We'll look at it. Either way, mate, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Chaz.
There we go. Aaron Smith, always a good laugh and a very exciting driver to watch, as we explained during the races there, Dara.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say that, I'll be honest, I don't think I can disagree with him more on terms of tracks, to be honest with you. And you as well. I'll say right now, not in these cars, but COTA is a fantastic racing venue, and I will not hear too much COTA slander in my ears. You can go racing at every corner on that circuit, and it's always fun. First of all, sorry, just getting that one out. Secondly, I actually think Road Atlanta is better for these cars than it is for GT and multi-class racing. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I'm sticking my neck out here. I think Road America is pretty bad for multi-class racing because you can't overtake, really. These cars, though, they're going to be an absolute dream around a circuit like that. This is exactly the kind of racing you want to see because it will be close. You can make those sends into, turn 1, up the hill into turn 2 and 3 without feeling like you're about to have an airplane crash. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a good one next week.
If you'd like a job commentating on Chaz Draycott Media, please send your resumes into media@chazdraycott.com. No, but I agree, though. I think we're going to see some great racing next time out, in all honesty. I think it's going to be a really, really solid round of the championship. Maybe a swinger as well, because it's a track that people are either really good at or just can't quite get the hang of. It's a real commitment circuit, so I'm excited for that one. Last interviews on you, Dara. Who would you like to drag in for this one, Sunshine?
I think we will be. I think we've got to drag in Alex Fretwell, don't we?
Yeah.
To have a bit of a word in with us. Alex, welcome in. Great to get you into the top 5 in that second race. It was a good evening's racing for you.
Yeah. The whole thing with number 5 last year was, I think, mainly in qualifying, but yeah, finally got one in the main race. Yeah, race 1 could have been a little better. Obviously, went from 4th to 2nd at the start. Led for a little bit before Jake managed to get up the inside, and then dropped it and ended up in the side of Aaron. So yeah, meatballed for that. I think thankfully there were a couple more incidents, so I managed to get back to 11th or 12th, which sort of put me on a reasonable grid position for the second race. And then another good start really, and I think I took 4 or 5 places in the first couple of laps. And then it was pretty lonely, to be honest, just making sure I didn't hit those tyres again. Yeah, just sort of trying to keep it clean for race 2.
Yeah, and you've been really impressive in terms of your consistency at the start of this season, just being able to, like you said, pick up those positions early on and make sure you get yourself into almost the position that your pace deserves to be in. You know, you're going to be well inside that top 7-8 conversation in the championship going into the next few weeks. What are the confidence points you can take from this race? Yeah, it was lonely. Yeah, you had those moments, but clearly there was some good stuff you were doing tonight.
Yeah, I think it's getting that balance for me between sort of pushing for a bit more pace and keeping that consistency, which I've been pretty happy with the pace so far this season compared to the European Series. I don't know if it's with people not necessarily knowing the tracks as well or anything like that, but yeah, pace is getting closer. I think in the first race, in terms of single lap, I think I was second or third fastest lap, unless I'm massively wrong on that. But yeah, so pace is getting better. I'm obviously a little bit disappointed with that mistake in race 1. But yeah, just keep trying to keep it on track and yeah, pick some points up. I'm probably a bit in no man's land at the moment, as the second race showed. I'm sort of not quite in the normal top 5 and hopefully a little bit ahead of sort of a pretty packed midfield. But yeah, I guess we'll see how that changes track to track.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, excuse me, you may not feel like you're in the top 5, but you're picking up those top 5 points, and that's what you can do, really. Quick little word, very quick little word on Road America next week. Is that Road Atlanta next week? Is that what you're looking forward to?
Well, fortunately, I've got both, so I'll not be buying the wrong one, thanks to you.
Oh, you got that in.
I would have felt bad, yeah.
I didn't buy Miami. I will try and avoid it for as long as possible. What was the question? Road Atlanta. Yeah, obviously done quite a few laps around there in sort of GTs and GTPs. Obviously this is quite a bit different, but at least sort of knowing where to go when I go out of the pits will be a positive. I did go straight out on track at the start of practice tonight and found myself in the middle of turn 1 with cars coming towards me. I got a little bit lost. And, yeah, had a bit of a panic, but fortunately that was right at the start of practice and found where I was going soon enough. Yeah,
fair enough. But yeah, we wish you the best going into next week in Road Atlanta, not Road America, very different circuit. Very different circuit. Thanks for joining us, Alex. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to on the stream?
Just as always, you two, talking me through the night. Got you on in the background, just in case I need any more information. But yeah, great job again.
Guessing you don't pick up too much then from the two of us yabbering on, but yeah. Thanks, Alex. Good luck for next week.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Well, there we go. Alex Fretwell, yeah, clearly happy about his results, but still he's wanting more, and that's what I like about these drivers, though, is that, you know, we see an improvement from one season to the next, or we see them get a good score and we think, oh, brilliant, you know, that's exactly what you want, and they still want to grab more from it, and I really enjoy that about it, because that perfectionism is what continues to drive not just the drivers forward, but us and the series as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good to see that, you know, drivers can pick out those, points and moments where they can look to progress from, because even if you do have a bit of a dull evening, as Alex did in that second half of the race where he didn't really see anybody on track, there's clearly some good pace that he can take from this and go into or use into next week.
Absolutely. That is unfortunately all we've got time for here tonight at Homestead, Miami in the Formula CDM Americas Series. Thanks once again, Dara. Another fantastic, joyous stream to share with you. Thank you to all the drivers as well for putting on such a great show. And thank you everybody for watching. We really hope you've enjoyed the show here tonight. Flaxen Sport have really made a stern charge in the team's championship now. Lee Aberdeen gets his first win on the board, and they become the first team to get a 1-2 finish in Formula CDM history. Join us in a week's time when we head to Road Atlanta, where we're going to have a great time. That's all for now, though. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.